We all have that problem. As long as you know that I know that you know that I know.
That you want to fuck me.
Oh, dear. Welcome back to hashtag Just Sayin, and now my mic is on.
Want to take two?
Nope. Bit early for that, isn't it? Bit early. No, I do not want to take two. It's one take. I'm a one-take pony. Okay. Let's get down to it. Right? Last night, I went to a New York Giants game, and they happened to be playing at Gillette Stadium, which is the home of the New England Patriots. I was given tickets for my birthday, and so I'm gonna tell you about my night. If you don't like football, I'm not gonna get too into football, so don't get upset. I am a Giants fan. I've been a Giants fan since I was like 7 years old. Okay, I take a lot of heat for it. I'm used to it. I don't care. Okay. So, in anticipation of the evening, I decided to wear my Giants hat. Okay? So I have on my Giants hat, and
yeah, she's wearing a St. Louis one right now.
I am, but this is my most comfortable hat. I love this hat because it's so comfy.
And the one you get the most shit for.
I get more shit from this from the New Orleans hat
Than anything.
than any Giants hat or anything else I could wear. I've gotten more people like, Saints, huh? It's like
cool colors, and it's free.
I just like the hats. Just leave me alone.
It was free.
It's free, it's for me. So, I had on a Giants hat, I had a red hoodie. We go to the stadium, and I was expecting to be vastly outnumbered, one. And I was kind of expecting a lot of heat. Okay? To be honest, I really didn't get any shit at all.
Nice.
It was minimal. It was more playful, I think, than anything. Right? Yeah. So... As you wish. So, we get to our seats. The seats are pretty nice, right? So I'm watching, like, everybody else file in, and I'm noticing all of the Giants people. And they're all wearing Saquon Barkley shirts, which I was laughing because he's been out for, like, 3 weeks, and he wasn't even playing. And I'm like, he's not playing, do you know?
Well, it's like, I think every team has those fans that still have the jerseys from, like, 15 years ago. Of someone who hasn't played in 8 years,
right?
And they still wear the jersey,
right? He's out on injury. He might play next week. Who knows, right? So I was kind of laughing. I'm like, wearing your Saquon jersey. He's not even playing. And so I'm sitting there, and they were like 2 little kids ahead of me. They were 2 rows ahead.
Frickin' frack.
Yeah. And they had on Odell Beckham Jr. shirts, which I was like, ooh, get those on clearance? Because he doesn't play for the Giants anymore. And so, but I didn't say anything. And 2 rows behind me were these adults, we'll call them. And they were looking at the kids. And they were looking at the kids booing them. They were like, hey, kid, boo! I'm like, that's not polite at all. So the kids were like half turn around and they're like, And I said, hey kid. And he turns around and I was like, ah. And he's like, hey. I said, I got you. I got you.
I got you, babe.
Yeah. So it was funny. So I mean, like, yeah, ha. And then there was a guy like 3 seats away from them, and he had on like a Giants hat. He had on a Giants leather jacket. I was like, "Aren't you pimp?" And,
You probably just bought them.
yeah, and he was like, hey, look at me.
That was the first time wearing them.
Yeah. So, I mean, we were all trying to, like, get in each other's sights so that we could, you know, help each other if need be. So, yeah. So the game starts, and the Giants actually started out doing really well. And it quickly fizzled. By the second half, I was like, what happened? Who are you? I don't know who you are. So... There was two guys ahead of me, right? The very row in front of me. And one guy, when the Patriots were doing something correctly, which actually didn't happen all that often, he would turn to the people around him and high five. Boom, 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 boom. High five club. Boom, 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 boom. And he turned around. Now I went with my nephew, my older nephew. And he would turn around and he would high five my nephew, right? And the first few times he did it, he'd put a hand up to me and then he'd go, oh, because of my hat, right? Mm-hmm. So, oh, you don't get a high five. And he'd turn around. I'm like, I'm sorry. But the funny thing is his friend, who quickly became my friend, when the Giants did something well, he would turn to me and go, here you go. And he would high-five me so that I had somebody to high-five when the Giants did something well. And it was pissing his friend off, and I think that was part of the plan. Seriously, because his friend was like, come on. And these were like older guys. They weren't like young guys. So it's kind of funny. He turned around and he goes, I want you to know, he goes, I don't like your hat. And I said, okay. And he goes, and I want you to know it, you know, he said something like, it bothers me or something. He's like, oh, what you're doing to me. And I said, well, if it helps you, I'm in a lot of pain. And he looked at me and he goes, actually, that does help a little bit. I said, well, there you go. Because, let me tell you, I was in a really good section, and I was 20 rows up. Okay? Nice. I was on the 10-yard line. 20 rows up from the 10-yard line.
Sweet. And
everybody stood. They stood for almost the entire game. Which is why my legs still hurt today. And my back. My legs and my back.
Wow.
Yeah.
I know that one.
I was messed up. I'm like, man, can't we sit? It was like we were in the middle.
There's a seat right here that was paid for me. I like to sit in it.
We were in the middle of the thing, and I'm just looking. I'm like, wouldn't it be great if we all sat? I'm just like, doesn't anybody else want to sit? And my nephew actually, he does masonry, and he messed up his knee. He has to have like surgery on his knee, and he goes, I feel you with your legs. He's like, my knee's going to be hurting. I was like, good, we'll have a limping contest so you can get out of the stadium faster. He's like, nope, no contest there. So that was kind of funny. Now, what was going on, which I didn't know about now, next to him, oh my God. Okay, one quick thing, right? Behind me.
Pause it for a minute.
Yeah, I know, right? I know. Behind me, almost, like, behind me and over one, was a young lady. She couldn't have been more than 25. Mentally, probably about 12. And through the whole game, aside from when she would leave to go get more drinks, and we were all happy.
Oh, I need a drink.
She would scream either, Brady! Or, Edelman, I love you! And I'm like, lady, he doesn't want to fuck you. Like, nobody even wants to look at you right now.
And Brady's married.
Yes.
With children.
I guess.
Edelman needs a shave again. He's got that stupid big thick beard going back again.
But here's the thing, right? And then, and I was laughing my ass off, right? Because, like, the Patriots offense in the beginning of this game did not do well, right? They were not doing well. Brady got
better by the fourth.
Brady got picked off, and he got sacked about 3 times. And I was like, yeah, oh, you should see me when he hit the ground. I was like, oh yeah, senior citizen down! Senior citizen down! Somebody help get the stretcher. Get his life alert. Beep beep, I'm falling. I can't get up. Seeing you down. I was dying. I'm like, let's do it. And the people around me were not happy. But the girl would go, you know, she was one of those people who's like, come on, offense, you know, do something, score, come on, score. And I'm just sitting there and I'm like, what do you think their plan was when they went on the field? Do you think their plan was to not get points on the board? And then, like, defense was on the field. And she's like, come on, defense, stop him, come on, defense, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, and I'm holding my tongue. And I heard her behind me talking to somebody else. So I turned to my nephew and I was like, you know what? I was like, I don't know who she thinks she's helping. I was like, but I can just imagine, like, the defensive coordinator on the field going, you know what, guys? That gal is right. We're not playing defense properly, and she's the only one who's pointed it out. We need to really step our game up, according to her, and stop the hole.
Yep.
Thank God she was screaming. Thank God we heard her over an entire stadium. My God. Now, last year, I think it was last year, for Jay's birthday, I took him to a Mets game. Because I hate baseball, but he likes the Mets. So we went to a Mets baseball game. And at that time, they had a player, and I don't know his first name, but his last name was Bruce. And the guy behind us, the whole game, would yell, Bruce! And I looked at Jay and I'm like, this guy's driving me crazy. And I heard him yelling, Bruce! Even after the game, on the ride home, while I was trying to go to sleep, all I heard in my head was, Bruce! And it's a joke with me and Jay now, just like, Bruce! So I looked at my nephew and I told him that story, and I said, I'm going to hear this bitch in my fucking ear when I'm trying to go to sleep. All I'm going to hear is her going, Edelman! Bruce! Like, Bruce! All I'm going to hear is this woman. Now, one more thing I got to tell you, and this is funny. My nephew was like, man, we got a game and a soap opera. There was a couple next to him, and they were there with two other people. So it's a guy and his girlfriend, and then his two friends, right? I don't know what happened. One of the friends, he was gone. I don't know what happened to him. Maybe he was out smoking weed. I don't know. The other one, before the game even started, he was hammered. Like, red-eyed and, like, weaving tipsy. He was the guy that I texted you about earlier. I was like, this guy came back with food to the thing. He had a hamburger, like a cheeseburger, like a big old cheeseburger, and some fries. And he got two
fries.
Yeah, a big fucking tub of fries. And he gets almost to his seat, and he drops the hamburger. And his look, he went like this. Like he had the most dejected, heartbroken look. And I was laughing my ass off just because he just looked so sad and dejected. And then he brightened up. He was like, I got fries. Because that's how hammered he was. He was like, I lost my burger, but I still got some fries.
You're that hammer that shouldn't matter. 5-second rule.
I know, right?
Pick that burger up and eat it.
I know, right?
Plus, you would think that it might be like, wasn't it wrapped up or no?
He had taken it out of the wrapper to eat it.
Oh, what an idiot!
Yeah.
You wait till you get the seat for that. That's why.
Yeah.
Now if that was wrapped, you'd be all set.
No. So he was pretty screwed. So he was like, but I still got fries. So he still had a good night. Now, I didn't realize this was going on until my nephew told me afterward. But when he told me, I put the pieces together and I was like, oh, that's why? Now, that couple was fighting, apparently, half the night. And my nephew goes, they broke up and got back together twice during the course of this game? He said, and then finally, he just looked at her and said, I'm done with you. And that was it. And I was like, really? And he goes, yeah, she was crying. He goes, I kind of wanted to pat her on the head and be like, girl, it's all right. I was like, I thought I saw her, like, wiping tears away. And I was like, nah, she can't be crying. It's football. Nobody cries in a football game. Unless you're Tara and the Giants are losing.
That would be funnier if you guys were at a baseball game.
I know. Nobody cries in baseball. But I was like, this is wrong. So I said, well, what happened? And he said, I couldn't figure out what was going on. He said, but she kept bugging him during the game. And I was like, well, you know what? I was like, there are times and places to have your couples, spat.
Quarrel.
Yeah. I was like, in a football stadium is not where you want to, work out your couple differences.
And paying for those tickets?
Holy crap, yes. Exactly. And apparently he had never gotten, that good a seat before. So he was psyched. And he wanted to watch the game, and she was over here we need to talk about our feelings. And he's like, oh, no!
I got nothing for you right now. Leave me alone.
I got nothing for you. I know. And at one point, this was horrible and funny. Seriously, I was like, oh my God, that's funny. They had these cups, right? These big cups, and they had a little handle on it, and they had the Patriots on it. It's like, Patriots! And apparently, you get it like a soda or beer or something. So she goes, oh, I'd really like a Patriots cup. And in my head, I'm thinking, then go buy one.
They're everywhere.
So her betrothed, temporarily betrothed because he's about to dump her, goes out and gets a drink with the cup. And then comes back and she's like, oh boy, she's really happy. Oh, you got me the cup. And then he goes, nah, it's not for you. And he turned around and gave it to his friend. I was like, oh shit.
What an ass.
Yes, but hilarious. And then my nephew said that he heard him say, you know what? After this, I'm done with you, and I'm just gonna go work with my dad and move in with him, and I can't live with you anymore, and blah 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 blah. And, he had his whole life planned out, right? So I started laughing. I'm like, man. I said he was gonna break up with her anyway. He had his escape route already planned. He's like, he had his life planned out. He's like, I'm gonna go here and do this and work here and blah blah blah.
Why do it at a game?
I don't know. They were gone. They were gone when the fourth quarter started. They left.
Did you say he was loud when he was doing all this?
He wasn't that loud. I didn't hear him.
I was going to say, maybe his plan was just to embarrass the shit out of her in front of everybody.
No, I don't think. I think he just generally wanted to watch the game, and she just kept because he'd turn and talk to his friends, and she'd pull him around to face to face with her. And which I didn't know. My
you pay attention to her too.
I know you got to spread your time around, but at the same time, little few. At the same time, it's like I said, she wanted to have this big. I don't know what she was trying to do, but I'm like, she should have waited until they got to the parking lot or the car or whatever. Our home. Home is a much better place to do that kind of shit.
At least the car, you can just pull over and get out.
Oh, you need to get out.
Get the step in.
You need to get out. See that pavement? Stop pounding. Stop pounding that pavement. So we left. My nephew was like, what time do you want to go? And I said, whatever time. Because I had already resigned myself to the fact that I was going to not get any sleep. And he's like, I kind of want to beat the traffic out or whatever. And I said, well, if you want to. So it's the middle of the fourth quarter. And he goes, do you want to go? And I said, well, because the Giants were about to get the ball back. So I said, let me see what they do with this possession. And, if they can make magic happen, because it was still a very close game. I said, if they can make magic happen, then we'll stay. And he's like, okay, we'll leave it up to fate then. Fucking Giants have the ball. I think on the 30, maybe. Daniel Jones, Giants quarterback, throws an interception. It gets run back for a touchdown. I looked at my nephew and I was like, let's fucking go. And he goes, really? And I was like, they can't come back from that now. It's 28-14 or something. I was like, they can't come back with 8 minutes. It was less than 8.
Good, but
it was less than 8. Well, he had any receiver worth a damn was out on injury. So he had nobody to throw to. And he couldn't. It was funny because he would. I know this is. I promised I wouldn't talk about football, but he would step back out of the pocket and he was literally scanning the field for anybody. And he's like, "What?
Who? Look, lineman. Here you go.
Who?
Run.
What? Who? Where? Who? And he was like, and he was waiting too long because you can't. the Patriots have the kind of defense where it's like, if you're going to throw the ball, you got to do it quick. And they kept getting to him.
Run.
And exactly. And the only thing that I would say about Daniel Jones that Daniel can do that Eli cannot is he's a much better scrambler. So out of the pocket he was running, and he actually ran with the ball a few times. I'm like, that's how you know, like, the desperation of a quarterback, where he's like, I have nobody to throw to. Guess I'm doing it myself.
And I heard that Brady surpassed his brothers.
Yes, Brady
record.
went past Peyton Manning, yeah. The only one who's got a beat now is Drew Brees.
It's alright, as long as he passed Peyton's.
I know you hate Peyton so much. I know.
Like I hate a beard.
Like I hate a beard. I tell you, but Daniel did nothing for my fantasy football team this week. So
Damn, Daniel!
I know, Daniel!
Shit!
Why? So, I mean, if you're to take one thing away from the beginning of this show, it's that if you're going to have a heart-to-heart with your betrothed, don't do it in the middle of, like, a football thing. Don't, pick your spots. I mean, there's time and place.
Home so you can tell the other one, you stay here.
I mean, there was no reason for her to, like... And I'm not trying to, like... I pick on her, because I don't know what her situation was, but...
See, at first I thought you were going to tell me that she was one of those people that went with him. They're like, who's that? What's that?
I don't think she was into football at all, because she wanted to talk to him.
What's offense and what's defense?
She wasn't really paying attention.
What's a tight end? All those type of questions.
I think she just went to go.
The ones that you should ask somebody, like when you're watching on TV.
I think she just went to go, which is fine. But if somebody's trying to, like, enjoy the thing, don't bother them while they're enjoying the thing just because you don't enjoy the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
You want a cup? We'll get a cup.
So, it's 20 minutes in, I haven't done my horn yet. We record the first 30 or so minutes of the show. We post that up on YouTube. YouTube people, we post the entire podcast, which is a little bit longer than this, a little bit. You can find it on...
Wee bit.
I know, you find it on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, and Google Play.
We're done.
The last episode did quite well.
Yeah.
So we're very happy about that. The live... Well, it wasn't live. The Memorext episode in the Oliver House. And they were awesome, by the way, and we're trying to, like, plan maybe going back at some point. So that'll be good.
Yes.
That's all my horn. Got all that done. Yay!
Yay, horn.
Yay! I got a text from my niece the other day, and she said, now apparently in that episode, either before we started recording or after, or perhaps during, I had made a comment about people who say
Yeah, you talked about that during the show.
And how I don't like when I say it, because I hear myself say it, and I'm like, stop. And she wrote me a text, she said, I had no idea how many people say till you pointed it out to me. She said, and now I hear it all day. She said, I don't like it. And I said, well, you
Sucks,
know.
doesn't it?
I said, I know. And then I was like, well, I don't remember what I said. And then she said, well, instead of saying I'm just going to say nothing. And I said, well, yeah, but that's awkward. Like, because a lot of people say to try to, like, let their brain catch up with their mouth.
Yeah.
Which is what I do anyway. And if you're, like, talking to somebody, instead of saying you just like this, like, oh, so we were going to the
where are we going?
flea market? It's like this weird, awkward pause. It's like, I don't know. If you're okay with weird, awkward pauses, I don't know that I am. I don't know that I am. I'm awkward enough. Oh, yeah. I mean, I was hurting so bad last night. Because they stood. I was like, does everybody sit down? But I could figure out where the commercials were. Right? Like, where they would play the commercials. And the players would literally just be standing in a huddle in the middle of the thing, like, waiting for the commercial break to be over.
So where are you getting food later?
Yeah, I know.
We all going to Taco Bell or what?
You going to Red Robin? We'll meet at Red Robin. Mozzarella sticks on me, bro. I got you. So, when that was happening, I'd like, nudge my nephew and be like, commercial! And we'd sit down. Because he was in pain, too. So we'd sit, and we were, like, the only ones sitting. And then like when you hear the ref go beep, blow his little whistle, it's like standing up again. Like, oh shit. That's exactly what was happening. That's exactly what I was like moaning. I'm like, oh god.
Because if you didn't, everyone in front of you would be blocking your view, right?
Exactly. Yeah. We were like, the best.
You always get a person that's taller than you. Like you're right in front of you.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of slanted, but still, I mean.
Hey, Lurch, sit down.
Exactly.
I'm only 5'6". I can't see shit.
Exactly. So I was like, man, this isn't handy. Then I said, well, the best place to be, I guess, would be like the first or second row.
Right.
Because then you could be like, I'm not standing. Oh, I was so... This is going to sound horrible to me. This is going to sound horrible to anybody, right? But I want you to know my heart was pure, right? I have to put that out there, that my heart was pure. My intentions were good, right? So we were seated, and it was all... It was like, pre-game, we're all ready to go. Now, pre-game, they had these cancer survivors and the caretakers on the sideline, and they all had different poster boards for the color coordinated for what cancer they were fighting, right? So, I can't believe I'm going to tell you guys this. I don't care. So, they were all on the side. Now, this was like wrapped around, end zone, all across, right? There's a ton of people. So, they were like, we'd like to introduce you to I don't know what, they were probably like part of St. Jude's or something. So then, like, we'd like to introduce, bring them out to the middle of the field, and so they all came out to the middle of the field, and people were applauding. Yes. So, this is where I'm going to show that I'm an asshole. But I don't think I'm an asshole, because my heart was pure, I told you that. Right? So, they all come out to the middle of the field, and people start standing up. So then I was like, oh, God. But in my head, I'm sitting there, I'm going, well, you got to stand up for a cancer survivor. So I was like, all right. So I stood up, but I did it so dejectedly that I was just like, man, you're horrible. Like, these people fought cancer, and you're like, my leg hurts.
Will you like this again later?
What do you mean?
Please rise for our national anthem.
Oh, God.
Oh, again?
Yes! I did.
Fuck.
Yes! I did. Oh, when they did the remove your hat.
Well, you
and
should.
I was sitting there and I was like, does God care about my hat? No, I don't think that God would care. I did take my hat. I took my hat off because I was sitting there.
That's a rare moment to see her without a hat.
Because I was sitting there thinking to myself. I have a Giants hat on. I'm not completely surrounded by...
A lot of people around you will be happy you take the hat off.
I wasn't completely surrounded by Patriots fans, but I was outnumbered, right?
I wouldn't hope so.
And I was thinking to myself, like, if I don't take the hat off, either two things are going to happen. They're going to be like, look at that asshole Giants fan who wouldn't take their hat off. Or
I'm in the paper.
Yeah, or I'm going to get, harassed. Somebody's going to verbally say something to me.
All the way out.
Neither of which I wanted. So, I have something in my eye. So I was like...
Your finger.
Beside my finger. So I was like, yeah, I guess I gotta take the hat off. So I took the hat off. But I had my hoodie on, so I had my hood up. So my head was still...
You can't see my hair!
So my head was still covered. Are you kidding? I was waiting for the sky to open up and a downpour. It had been raining all day.
Today, it would have.
It was been raining all day. I'm like, it's just gonna pour. It didn't rain all night. I was very happy. It was windy as hell, though.
Oh yeah. Kept there's nor'easter. And for 2 days, all we got was strong winds, 40 to 60 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Now today we get the rain with it.
Oh yeah. Messed up my commute. Can I just tell you one thing, right?
One thing?
Yeah, I know. I'm full of things. I was on my way home tonight, right? I'm driving down Route 24. Can I just say, anybody listening, that if you don't like to drive in the rain or the snow, and it's doing either of those things out, either A, stay home, or B, don't get in the passing lane and do like 20 miles an hour. You feel me?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was driving, and I'm behind this person, and they're going very slow. So I go around them. So now it's me and a truck. Now, I'm not really tailgating, but there's really not enough room for a car to get between us either, right? So this little white piece of shit Honda that's in the center lane decides, wow, I could fit in there. They put their blinker on with a moment's notice. It was like they put the blinker on as they were jerking the wheel.
Yeah.
So it was like boom, boom. So I had about 2 seconds reaction. I had about 2 seconds reaction time. So I didn't rear end them, but I was pissed.
Mm-hmm.
So I hit my horn. Now I didn't hit my horn like meh. I hit my horn like beep. You did something stupid, right? Beep. Something stupid just happened, and it was you. Right? You feel it? You feel it. So I'm like, you're an idiot. Now they roll down their window. I assume they had to use the crank method. They roll down their window. Out comes the finger. And they are giving me the most violent middle finger I've ever gotten in my life. This wasn't just like, hey, this was, I'm like, okay, you have a problem. And so I put my window down, and I stuck my hand out, and I went like this. I gave him the thumbs up, and then I went, yay! Because I couldn't think of anything better to yell.
What, besides asshole or...
Yeah, I'm just...
crash into a pole?
Listen, yelling profanity at someone takes very little imagination and very little effort, right? Giving someone a thumbs up and yelling, yay, I think is a little more imaginative, shall we say?
Yeah.
They did not appreciate that at all, and the finger came back out.
Like I'm all for you.
Part 2, right? Part 2. So I'm like, okay. So...
Instead, this is my confessions. This
Yeah.
is my middle finger.
So I'm sitting there, I'm like, okay, well, now I gotta do it, right? They, stupidly, left plenty of room between them and the truck, right?
Guess what you did?
Guess what Tara did? Guess what Tara just did?
Click.
I went into the center lane, sped up, which was no problem to get ahead of them because they were doing like 30 miles an hour. Sped up, boom, boom. Did the exact same thing to them, which they did not like, by the way. I got the finger again, the horn, and brights. I got brights on that exchange. And I just, window down, thumbs up. Woo! Yay! Yep. Now, I'm driving, and they are so angry behind me. I'm getting all brights. They're so pissed, right? Now, the truck, I noticed, is also keeping 22 cars between him and the car ahead of him. So I'm like, I'm getting around this truck. So I go to the center lane. Then the truck finally figures out, like, oh, wait a minute, I think I'm driving too slow. And they speed up.
You think?
Now guess what happens? I am now side by side with the white Honda and the super finger. Right? And
The super finger against the super thumb.
yes. And I'm getting the finger, and I'm getting some kind of verbal blah, 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 blah. I just looked over and I was like, you're awesome. Right? Because what else am I going to do? And then I hit the gas. Got ahead of that truck. Never saw them again because I was just like, boom. They tried one other time to try to get ahead of me, and it failed epically. Because they
I
were
wish they crashed.
They were, I know, me too. Because they were in the center lane, and that lane started to slow down for some reason. So they ended up like 8 cars behind me. I'm like, ah, bitches.
That's when you go.
I know, right?
That's when you give them the finger back.
But I was just like, you guys suck. My gosh. Ugh, people. I have found that like being weird and nice like that, or like not going like on the level that they're doing, oftentimes will make people more angry. Like if you're not reciprocating their anger, like if they're like flipping you off and being like blah, 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 and you're just like, good job, you drive best. Like people get like, what the fuck? Like they get so angry. It's kind of funny. Fun's way you find it, I guess.
I don't know what the hell is wrong with some people these days.
Oh.
There's either yesterday or the other day.
Yeah.
I was talking to my girlfriend on her cell phone, but she had me on speaker.
Yeah.
And she was driving past school in traffic. And I guess the crossing guy was letting some kids cross, or a couple of people cross. And I heard a horn go off, like beep. She said that one person in that line was honking because they were letting kids cross.
The impatient. Like, why are we even here?
Either stay home or leave earlier.
Oh, first of all.
Why the hell would you be honking because they're letting kids cross to go to school?
First of all, I try to leave earlier. My dog
doesn't work.
My dog has to poop. The dog always delays me. I'm like 10 minutes because she goes exploring. I'm like, you go to the backyard.
You have a huge yard.
You go to the backyard all the time. You know what's back there. I need to go to work so I can keep you in the lifestyle that you're living. Oh, up to your neck in dog bones. Come back in. I need to go to work. Jeez. That was amusing.
Oh, hiccup.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to say goodbye to the YouTube folks. You can check out the full show. We got some funny stuff, so please check it out on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Google Play.
Wait, Dom.
I wasn't ready for that.
You always are.
I know.
You gotta be.
Check out the other videos. Check out our Oliver House investigation.
Yes.
It's really good. See you next time. Yay! John's got something to say, John.
Have a good everything.
Yes.
Next time someone gives you the finger, give them some nice kindness back. Like she did. Then give them the finger.